Hello to everybody on the edge of sleep and welcome to this video. Today, as suggested by this guy in my last Markiplier video, we are going to be talking about the edge of sleep and why I believe it created the best horror concept of the modern day. Now, get your caffeine and hit that subscribe button or you will sleep forever, and let's just get right into it. If you haven't watched the original Edge of Sleep podcast or the Amazon Prime series, first of all, what are you doing here? It's amazing, go watch it. And secondly, I'll just give you a very quick and simplified rundown of the plot. So, Markiplier's character, Dave, is a guy with sleeping problems, and one day him and his friends find out that everybody on Earth, except a few that did not go to sleep, have died. What we find out through flashbacks is that when Dave was a child, he went to this nightmare specialist doctor that did some kind of experiment on him while in his dream state, where he saw this strange elephant man, which is who we'll be talking about today. As people continue to die off in their sleep, Dave decided to go on the edge of sleep, as the title states, and find out there's actually a safe haven for people that have survived as he continues to get strange visuals of this elephant man throughout his journey. He finally reaches this island of other survivors called sleepwalkers via plane crash. Suddenly, everybody that died in their sleep have now awoken with evil red eyes, and the season, or possibly the whole series, if it doesn't get renewed, ends. Now, with all of that in mind, we're going to be honing in on the Elephant Man and why I believe he's the best monster character created in recent times. Now, we all know the boogeyman, the sleep paralysis demon, and whatever random character you were terrified of as a kid showing up in the dead of night at your most vulnerable, but it's all just weird dreams, right? Now imagine your biggest fear as a child suddenly becoming real and killing almost everyone on the planet, and it's headed straight for you specifically. Always having this feeling of being watched or even hunted, constantly looking behind you, wondering when you'll see that terrifying face again. The most relaxing part of the end of the day has now decayed into a terrifying moment you do anything to avoid. Caffeine pills, dozens of energy drinks, gallons of coffee, bright screens, ruining your body and mind because nothing could be worse than losing control of your own head. This is the constant feeling for the survivors of the edge of sleep, especially Dave. In the autopsy scene, we notice that people who fall victim to the sleeping death have a strange triangle burned into the front of their brain, which is presumed to be the way that the Elephant Man marks his territory and has now taken over their minds of everybody who could not stay awake. Now, there are countless theories on the internet on what exactly the Elephant Man symbolizes. An evil version of Buddha, a tapir, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's basically a yokai who eats dreams, or perhaps a deformed, demonic man who just wishes to take over the world. I personally believe the appearance of this monster being an elephant is more a representation of how our minds contort and smear the appearances of people while asleep, often mixing features of multiple living beings. Now, a difference in the podcast and show that viewers spotted was the representation of the whales. The show depicts the whales as a mysterious figure, almost similar to a deity, while the podcast directly links the survivors, the sleepwalkers, as the real-world bodies connected to these oceanic in-betweens. What this tells me is that there could possibly be a more human-looking counterpart to the Elephant Man. Now, the theory I have is, what if this is somehow actually an inner demon of Dave himself? Flashbacks to Dave as a child in the show, not in the podcast. He's interacting with the honestly strange doctor, monitoring and talking to him in his sleep. We also find out that Dave actually killed the sleep doctor by stabbing him in the neck. Now, this Elephant Man could be a distorted version of how he views himself, or possibly a demon taking over part of his mind to try and infiltrate the real world. I think the fact that he's shown to have scars on his chest that are the exact same triangle symbol as the victims of the sleeping death support this theory. Now, even though I personally don't believe this, I'm going to go film theory mode and bring something from the real world into this, which is that there was an actual Elephant Man. Now, this happened a long time ago whenever there were still freak show circuses going around. From my very little amount of research, the Elephant Man in real life was actually just a man born with disfigurement, and he was mistreated by the people around him, then getting sold off into this freak show. The reason why I believe this could have some correlation is that after the Elephant Man got out of the freak show, he lived a pretty quiet life other than people visiting him to see his disfigurement. And something we know about him is that due to his condition, he was unable to sleep regularly. He had to sleep sitting up. And one night, whenever he decided to try to sleep like a regular person, he unfortunately passed away. Which, this is a really dark and sad and upsetting story to think, and I do not personally believe that they are actually bringing references to this man in the show, but it is I don't want to say cool correlation, but it is something to mention just because it's related to Elephant Man and having issues with sleeping. In a world where they did use this man as a reference, I believe an explanation could be that this man was a freak show man, he was mistreated by the world, and then whenever he died in his sleep, he came back as like a demonic or karmic figure. And possibly as some sort of revenge over humanity, he came back and just found Dave for some reason and was like, yep, that's the child I'm gonna do this through, like the Antichrist. But this correlation is disproved whenever we find out from the Sleepwalkers that this is a deity, demon, whatever, that has been here for possibly hundreds of years and have killed a couple people every now and then decided to launch a full attack. Now, although this character did not get a tremendous amount of screen time or a true explanation of his existence, I still believe it is one of the best monsters in modern day. A mysterious backstory, gruesome and morphed character design, almost like if someone tried to make a human out of slime, toying with the mind of a child, bringing an adult's childhood fears and trauma to life, even taking over the world around him to truly isolate Dave. Now, honestly, the only thing I can hope for is a season 2 or a continuation of the podcast so we can get some answers. So now, with the topic of this video, comment down below what weird character you had nightmares about growing up. Personally, I was for some reason afraid of the live-action Grinch. Like, for an entire week, I had dreams about him coming up under my bed and then grabbing me and, like, going out the window. But while you're down there commenting, hit that like button to give me that sweet, sweet dopamine to keep making these videos. And now, I'm gonna go to sleep and fist fight a demon. Bye-bye!